Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be breaking down this trade from today on ES. This was about a 3.2 R trade. So here you can see the executions. So coming into this week, even if I'm going to be bullish, I want to see at least a move lower first. So, the most obvious target can be this Friday's low. The one thing I don't like about this setup, basically what would have made this setup a lot better, is NQ leaving these highs, right? These relative equal highs. Now, if NQ had taken this high and we formed an SMT, it would have made it a lot better. But the framework is still there, and this can just be a target for later on in the week. So if I'm going to be bearish, where do I want to target, right? I want to target these low resistance lows. So we have, these stacked lows here, here, even here, but this one's a bit further. And where I targeted was just this 6 a.m. candle low from Friday. This is where I exited my trade. But as you can see, it continues running down to this low. And now we're forming an SMT here, right, with NQ. So did we take this low? Yeah, we took this low on YM. So pay attention to these 4-hour candles, right? So 6 a.m. opens high, doesn't take this previous candle's high. Okay, this 2 a.m. candle on ES is a bearish close. This 2 a.m. candle on NQ is a bullish close. So we have a PSP, and then NQ takes the high, which is where it reverses from. And at the same time, ES fails to take that high, right? So we have the two-stage PSP right here, where we have the SMT and the PSP. And if you drop down to the 15-minute, you can see this as well. So mark out 930 and just look at where 930 is opening up, right? We've had this bearish 15-minute candle closing below these up closing candles. That SMT, holding. We have a V-shaped reversal here. 930 opens down here. NQ at 930 opens here and runs out its previous candle high, right? This 15-minute high. So we put in another SMT here at 930. And we also form another PSP, a fractal PSP, where NQ closes bullish, and which one's 930? This one. ES closes bearish here, right? And I didn't really focus too much on YM, but YM shorts were valid as well to all these stacked lows. Let's just look at ES on the 15-minute. Just ES. So you can see we open here. We kind of just consolidate all day. We have this consolidation here that we can target. So we manipulate these highs, trade into this gap. And then this is where we start to see it sell off, and the SMT gets put in here. And then basically when my bias is confirmed that we're going to go lower, I can just look here and see, okay, we have equal lows here. And this was like a further target, but this is where I took my profits off. I believe it was this one anyway. I think it was this one. It might have been this one. I'll see when I go down to the lower time frames, but ES was the weaker asset out of NQ and DS. So ES is more likely to get to these lows first before NQ. That's the reason that I was trading ES. So after this is all put in, we have the SMT, the PSP. All I'm doing is looking for a valid 5 or 3-minute entry. So the 3-minute was kind of choppy, it wasn't displacing massively. So I decided to zoom out and look at the 5-minute. You can see we take out this low and we start kind of consolidating in here. And as we do that, as we start to consolidate, as we take out this low, at the same time we're doing that, NQ has manipulated and has closed below this up close candle, right? It's given the change in the state of delivery right here after manipulating. So NQ is reversing and ES is consolidating after taking a low. So I can assume that NQ is going to catch up and both assets are going to move in alignment lower. So we get this bearish close at 10 a.m. below this order block. Now, obviously, we want on the 4 hour for 10 a.m. to form a small wick and continue from this 6 a.m. move. So we have the candle 2, reversal, candle 3, continuation, but we leave these lows, right? So this is where we can trade this candle 4 into the sell side liquidity objectives. So we open at 10 a.m. We form a shallow wick inside this order block, and we just continue closing below, basically forming these up closing candles. And you can see every time we take out lows, we get a new phase of price retracement or consolidation, but no reversal, right? And all assets, I was monitoring all assets at the same time. No assets were showing any signs of reversing, and we were leaving low resistance targets on all assets. So I was pretty confident that we're going to continue lower. And I just took full profits off as we got to this low right here. You can see it does move to that further low, which would have been nice. But, you know, this is a 3R trade down to this low. So, you know, 3R is more than enough.